I think my transition is very smooth because my previous high school was a boarding school, so I quickly adapted U.S. life.
My transition to college was pretty easy for me. I just immersed myself in schoolwork and hoped that I would make friends, and I ended up making friends, so pretty easy.
Well, my transition to college was pretty easy, I would say.
I would describe it as scary.
My transition to college was slightly difficult because I'm from out of state. So there was a period where I think I didn't see my parents for like 6 months, which is kind of difficult.
I would say it's kind of smooth for me because I actually went to high school in Michigan.
So my transition from college, I originally started at community college and then I went to a university, MSU. And at first I was a little nervous coming in to the university, but then once I came to MSU and I saw that like the big classes didn't really affect your education and that the professors were like any other professor or teacher I ever had, I was more relaxed and had a good experience.
I would describe my transition to college as fine. I wasn't homesick. I live an hour and a half away, so my parents came up a lot. I went back home a lot, so it was really easy, honestly.
So my transition to college, it was in some ways it was a lot easier, in some ways it was more difficult. So I think having a single mother kind of instilled it in me to be slightly more independent in certain ways. So the transition itself of dealing with homesickness wasn't as much. I was used to not always having my mother there 24/7, so that wasn't hard for me.
So looking back on college, transition to college, I was expecting a lot more difficulties being comfortable with being homesick, and honestly I didn't go through that trouble of being homesick. I was honestly excited to leave home and figure out like more of who I am.
Applying for college was a daunting task in and of itself because I had no inkling of what this process was going to be like. My mom had no idea. The only thing I could really rely on is kind of like the college prep that I got from high school, and thank God I think it was adequate enough to help me.
My expectations of college, I knew there was going to be a lot of work because I'm a pre-dental major as well and I want to go into dentistry, but at the same time I felt like college by the American standard, or like for example movies like American Pie, I thought it'd be a lot of fraternities and parties and sex, drugs and alcohol and that kind of stuff. But no, it wasn't like that.
My mom and dad never went to college, so they really didn't care for college, honestly. They always thought A, that it was too expensive, and B, and if I was gonna go, that they're not taking out loans for me. So it wasn't a big thing. College is not a big thing in my family.
Probably when I got the letter saying that I got in, I wasn't expecting to get into MSU after one semester, but I got a letter from the dean basically saying like they saw how difficult classes I took at community college and how well I did in those classes in community college, and that was more elevated than like most applicants, so they decided to let me in a semester early. Again, like I said, I didn't actually decide to go in the semester early because the whole purpose of me going to community college was to save money, even though I knew I had the grades from high school, able to get into MSU. So, like I said, the most fun part was getting that like letter from the dean saying that I would get in a semester early.
I thought the hardest thing to include with academics was like allowing for time to do laundry or even just like feeding myself, because I mean when I was at home my mom would do my laundry or like cook for me, so like finding time to do like personal things or like just daily little activities was more difficult to do alongside academics.
I made a lot of friends around the world because MSU is such big community. And one more funny thing is, in China we don't have a law about drinking alcohol under 21 years old. But since I came to US, I haven't drank alcohol for like 1.5 years until my 21 years birthday party. So it's just kind of fun.
I would say the fun part is getting to know more friends, more people who are generally interested in the same major and the same industry as I do, and also we have a lot of opportunities to hang out together, like go watch football games or basketball games, or just go on a road trip together. That would be the most fun and excited part for college transition.
Some of the most fun and exciting parts of my transition to college was the people I've met. I've learned a lot from them. Majority of them I don't even talk to anymore. But there was like a lot that I learned from them, and it made me who I am today.
Some of the most fun things about starting college were just the fact that there were things to do everywhere. Like every day, you could go to Wells Hall and watch a movie. There were all these things that I just felt like I could go to, and I would bring my friends or I would go alone, and I could make a lot of cool experiences.
What was a little slightly more difficult, I'd say, is dealing with kind of being by yourself and managing yourself. Because here in college, there's no one to tell you when to wake up, when to go to sleep, when to do your laundry, when to actually do your homework. So that was a little more difficult of like learning to manage myself better, because if I didn't do it, no one else was.
So I would definitely say academics was a thing that was very difficult to adjust to, because freshman year wasn't that bad. I definitely think MSU does a good job of acclimating students to harder and harder courses as you progress throughout college. I'd definitely say sophomore to junior year was definitely the biggest step up in academics. Rooming with random strangers they didn't really know much about. Rooming blind was another hard difficulty in just figuring out how to communicate with someone that you know nothing about or their background, except the times that you just get to know each other throughout the semesters.
Well, my first year in college, I had a roommate, and he was a friend of mine from high school. And I think that was one of the biggest challenges, is that
I thought the hardest thing to include with academics was like allowing for time to do laundry or even just like feeding myself, because I mean when I was at home my mom would do my laundry or like cook for me, so like finding time to do like personal things or like just daily little activities was more difficult to do alongside academics.
Just like meeting new people is kind of scary, and also like not knowing what's next.
Some challenges, I would say, like going to a class is really different from going to a class during in high school. You basically stay in the high school from like 7 to 3, right? But in college, you have to force yourself get up like 8 a.m. in the morning and then go to your classes. Instead of skipping all the classes, you will also need to like regularly go to office hours to just maintain good relationship with your professor, and then also getting a good grade by working hard to studying instead of just ignoring all your homework.
I did not really think about college at all when I was in high school. I thought it was going to be hard, but I didn't realize that how different it would be from high school. In high school, I mean, you get up in the morning, you go to class all day long, you go home. I didn't realize that in college you pick your own schedule, you have a couple classes a day, and really no one is making you do anything. Like there's no one to check in on you if you don't go to class. So if you're not motivated to go to class, then you don't go.
I went to a college preparatory high school, and they pretty much like tried to prepare us for college and the college life. Well, my family, like they've always wanted me to go to college. Ever since I was young, like they've always like told me, "Oh, you're going to college. Like whatever it is, just make sure you just get your degree." I'm a first generation college student, so I just the whole thing, like my family, they're new to it. Like I remember talking to my mom about like paying for college, and she's like, I've never had to like go through this before, and so it's new for all of us really, but they're proud of me and they're excited to like see my potential.
College is viewed within my family as extremely important. Everyone in my family has been to college. All of my dad's brothers have, and all of my mom's siblings have as well. So it's extremely important, and they value it in a very high regard. And in my hometown, it it's like if you're not gonna go to college, like then you have no future essentially. It's like everyone was expected to go to college, so it was held in very high standards.
My family always wanted me to go to college. Both of my parents went to Michigan State University, so I had to go here. I was peer pressured. But they always wanted me to go to college. Pretty much everybody in my graduating class went to college. Most people went to college in Michigan. I'm sure there were some people that didn't, but it was kind of expected that everyone was going to.
My mom and dad never went to college, so they really didn't care for college, honestly. Like, they always thought, A, that it was too expensive, and B, and if I was gonna go, that they're not taking out loans for me. So it wasn't a big thing. College is not a big thing in my family.
I came from a single parent household. I'm like a first generation student, so first out of my family that actually go to a four-year university.
What's the difference between US colleges and the colleges in your home country?
It's quite different. So my home country is in China. I would say the college in here has more freedom than in China, and especially for Michigan State, the size is much bigger than the college in China.
I took high school in China. The Chinese education system was totally different compared to US. So we had to prepare for the college entrance examination every single day since the first day of the freshman year. The exam was very crucial. It's just like go college or stay home. Although it is difficult to get into the college in China, but the graduation rate was very high. However, I think the study at U.S. college is very intense.
How have you grown since coming to college?
Well, I used to only can make simple meals such as like scrambled eggs or fried rice, but now I can do a lot of complex meal, and also I barely don't drive in China. Now it is necessary to own a car and drive myself to everywhere.
I think I've grown since coming to college because now I'm a bit more independent than I was before starting college. Now there's still lots of things that I don't really know how to do, but now I feel like I have the ability to learn new things and do things on my own.
I am a gay black male, and definitely that has changed since coming to college. I would say I've seen my gay identity come through a lot more than it was at home. Like, I grew up in Sterling Heights. It's a suburb of Metro Detroit. Like, it's a fourth largest city in Michigan, actually. So by no means was it somewhere that was like uninviting or anything like that. But like, it wasn't until the end of high school I was really coming into my own and like really starting to express my sexuality and everything like that. But like, college just kind of like really took a foothold of that and just ran with it and really let me express myself, because I wasn't at home. I didn't have any pressures from family or anything like that. I could just fully live myself because no one here knew me, and they only knew what I decided to present to them, and there was none of that prior knowledge of people who knew me from high school and everything going in. My black identity, it's always there. It's always been there ever since I was born. Can't run from this. So something like that, where I would say I've kind of learned more about my black identity here, especially MSU being a PWI. I've kind of had to come face to face of what it really means to be a black man in society, more so than I had in high school. Because I came from a very diverse high school, but we didn't really have conversations about race or anything like that. It was kind of just known, yeah, I'm black, but like, college has really made me think critically about what does that mean and how does that really impact my life, because it really has here at college.
I have grown a lot, I would say, because since in high school I never worked in high school, and then from freshman year in college, I started working part-time, and then also involving a lot of clubs, student organization, and also within my major at the same time also taking an average of 15 credits per semester. So I do involving a lot, and I'm trying to balancing my academic life and also work life.
My identities have changed shapes throughout my whole life, but especially in college, I feel myself closer with a lot of them. It's like back in high school, I went to a majority white high school. Like we did have other minority groups, and there was a very large like Arab population, but I never really paid a lot of attention to it. It was honestly just something I was born with. But now that I'm older, I'm like, it's like ingrained inside me, and it just allows me to like express that. It's like a lot of other people I talk to are not from Lebanon. A lot of other people don't have the same experience as I do. So going through college has allowed me to like flourish and discover those identities more, because it's a way for me to express who I am and what I've been through and like my experiences.
Honestly, I'm very proud of myself for being able to balance sports with academics my first 2 years and commuting to practices and just putting in a lot of time that way. And I'm also like, I think another really big accomplishment for me is just being able to be away from home and being like very independent and not relying on anyone but myself.
Well, first, as a person, when I was at community college, I didn't talk to anybody. Everyone there just went in to listen to the professor talk for 50 minutes and just left. Then coming to MSU, I was able to actually interact with different people.
I think it's an ongoing process because like every year presents new challenges and new things that you have to get acclimated to. So the transition to college is always happening. I think you're transitioning in college until you leave.